Hey, and welcome to this video where we're going to be checking out the Nord Wave 2 for its sampling capabilities. We're going to make this sound. So I hope you have an initial idea. There's further videos on the channel where I also take you through the synth, and there's also a no talking video where I just play sounds from it. But because it's really advanced in the way that you can sample with it or use actually the samples that Nord provides, I wanted to make a dedicated video on this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is load a blank patch. So this is the sample editor from Nord, which is one of the best pieces of software I've seen for doing this. I mean, granted, I come from Akai S1000 days where doing this was really horrendous, but right now this is connected to the Wave 2 via USB. I can just leave this mode quickly so I can drag and drop a sample in here. I have a folder here full of samples. This is one I recorded from the Moog Matriarch recently with an open filter. And I'm just going to drag and drop it. And look at this. Not only has it chopped it all and distributed it across the keyboard, it's actually also recognized the first sample here correctly, because I know I sent this MIDI to record that it is C1. So if I play this now on the keyboard, it's already letting me preview what this will sound like. And so all I have to do now is I usually enable dynamics, and from the tools I do a quick normalization. That's already it. And now I can just transfer this over to the Nord. Basically now what this has done is into layer 1, it's loaded this Matriarch sample. It's still an empty program. And the assignment on the keyboard is correct. So super easy. We're now going to add a second sample, and I'm going to show you actually the sampling capabilities of the software. So I have here the very first synthesizer I owned, which was given to me when I think it was like 13, and it still works and it sounds pretty amazing. However, it's not really well tuned. It has some issues, and this is exactly an example of why it's so cool to have something like this, where you can basically capture an instrument like this and use it in a way where it's reliable. So right now, I am the tuner on the right. I can see how the CS1 is tuned. Okay, and I want this to be a pulse width modulation sound, which is what I really love this little synth for. So I've tuned it, and I know that I need to be one note higher than the actual C, because yeah, this synth is not really properly working. It's got some issues. So now I can go back to the software here. So I'm just going to clear this again now, and now we're going to use this as a normal sampler. Important in order to do this is to set up the configuration so that you have the right input device selected. And if you're sampling a mono synth, of course, you know, we're going to do mono. So now if I hit threshold, and you can see we're getting audio in here, right? Okay, so now what I can do is just record this. So I've just done one octave now just to make this a little bit quicker. And as you can see, again, it's recognized that the first sample is a C2 in this case, and it's stretched out the samples above it slightly higher. And where I skipped notes, it's actually also assigned them. I'm just going to check that I'm on the C slot. And now I'm going to transfer this over. And there you go. CS01B is there now. So this is now. Now it's loaded, and my little monophonic synth has become polyphonic. I can add the amazing effects as well as the filter, a little bit of drive. Cool. Now let me go back to the matriarch sample. So in this case, what I would like to do is create a sound that has the matriarch sort of as a sub for the low end. So I'm going to put on the filter on that. I don't want that to be covering up the nice open pulse width modulation of the CSO1. I'm going to go back to the CSO1. So I'm running out of sampled notes here because I didn't want to stretch my sample that far. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shift down the octaves of the keyboard. And now I have a better playable range for this. I'm going to put a bit more EQ on this. I'd like to open it a bit. And now what I can do is actually split this. So if I hit the split here, part A will be to the left of the split point, and part B will be to the right. Have a look. And if I switch over, there's my matriarch sample. I'd like to have this split point somewhere else because I'm just going to do super low notes with the matriarch. So I can hit shift, I can hit the split on the keyboard. The shift enables a lot of secondary functions. And as you can see now, this display has changed, and I can move this little green light to a different point on the keyboard. So that's where I would actually like to have the split. And now the move will play just up to here. There it's gone. So now I can go back, play my CSO1 sound all the way to down here. You see it says group. If I hit shift and I choose one of these, it means that any layers that I've grouped will be affected by whatever I do here. So what I'm going to do now first is I'm going to enable both layers. So you can see now they are both on, and this one is selected, that's why it's blinking. Now I can join these into a group. So you see they're both yellow now. Now let's say that I would like to add chorus to both of these. I can hit shift and group the chorus to affect both of these layers. So now I can add this phaser to both layers. Have a look. So it's very intuitive. There's only a few moments where I had to look stuff up in the manual, but a lot of this stuff, it's just really logical the way it's laid out. And this is something that I realized when I started playing with this, is that the people behind Nord are real experts, and I mean, it says it on the box, it's a performance synthesizer. They're real experts in how to make a user interface that is super logical and playable. What I've realized is just the small detail of having the cutoff close to the keyboard in the middle is really smart, because if you're holding notes down with a pedal, you can move over a hand quickly and affect what's happening with your sound. And also having all the buttons very close to the keyboard to quickly switch things on and off. You can tell a lot of experience has gone into this. I've noticed that, and I also noticed that on the quality of the effects, because the way the delays are set up, for example, or the EQs, I don't feel like I need to tweak anything in there except choosing the amount, the feedback, maybe some high cut filter. The options that are on the panel are enough. And that says a lot about the quality of the sound design, both in the presets, but also in the effects. So little side note on the way this is made, you can just, you can feel the decades of experience that have gone into this interface and the way everything is set up to just work really well right out of the box. And that's it. Now we have a patch created with 2 layers, which on the low end has a Moog matriarch. Nice. And now on the top, I have my CSO1. And I have a new instrument. Super cool to be able to sample old sort of vintage synths that are doing all kinds of weird stuff and get them into a playable polyphonic state, and then be able to process them with all the EQs and delays and everything else that's here. Also being able to arpeggiate them, for example, I'm sure would be very interesting. So let's give this a shot as maybe an idea to start a track. realizing now what could be fun is actually to assign these to the mod wheel so that we can bring open the filter of both of these at the same time. I'm going to show you how simple it is to assign morph to these. I've selected the first, which is the low end of this sound. I'm going to say I want the wheel to affect that, bringing open the filter a bit. And on the second layer, I want to do the same. Okay, so let's have a listen to what this sounds like now and what I can now do with the wheel. So yeah, super cool. Honestly, I gotta finish this video because A, it's getting too long, and B, I want to play with this thing. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to give you an impression. I mean, I've only had this device a couple of weeks, and already now I'm super addicted to just all the kind of cool stuff you can do with it really quickly. And yeah, being able to use samples and all these things inside it is super cool. And I'm very happy to say actually that this device is staying in my studio. I'm not letting go of it anymore. It's like, as I said, one of the most inspiring synths that I've had the pleasure of working with. So you're going to see it a lot more on the channel and in my live streams. With that, I hope that this was interesting for you. There's more videos on the channel on the Nord. As I said, there's one that explains the whole sort of surface and how it works. And then there's one which is just no talking, me playing through some of the presets. I'm going to take the samples that I've shown you today and make them available so you can load them into your Nord if you have one. I'll put a link in the description of this video so you can grab the Moog sample and you can grab the CS01 sample. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful and interesting for you to see. I'm going to jam on the Nord a little bit more, and I'll see you in the next video.